Troy Austin, Gunditj Mara, General Member for the Metro Region.
I stand to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands that we're standing on today, the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung people of the Kulin Nation. I honour their elders, both past and present, and pay respects to their descendants. Further, I honour Gunditj Mara, Kirrai Wurrung and Djapurrung elders and their descendants, my family. I congratulate all of the members that have been elected in the Gellung Warl First Peoples Assembly on the third iteration. I also want to recognise those members of the First Peoples Assembly Victoria from the first and second terms. They laid the foundations and negotiated the treaty, even though many said it couldn't be done, especially after the failed referendum. I want to acknowledge Aunty Jill Gallagher and other community members that demanded a treaty in Victoria. To all those that called for a treaty for Victoria and said no to the recognised campaign, a campaign that was simply going to recognise us in the Australian Constitution. I thank them. Personally, I was honoured to have signed the treaty in November at a ceremony at the Birrarung, and then to place my handprint on a kangaroo skin at the community ceremony at the Aborigines Advancement League on the Sir Doug Nicholls Oval, the home of the Fitzroy Stars. It was attended by elders, traditional owners from across Victoria. Young and old participated in the ceremony, giving cultural assent to the treaty. It was an incredible journey to Australia's first treaty, sealed by the Premier, the Minister for First Peoples and Treaty, alongside our co-chairs. To all the parliamentarians that stood in the two chambers here and voted in support of the treaty legislation, I say thank you to them. It was an amazing experience to sit in the lower and upper house, hear the debates on the treaty legislation last year. I can still see the images of the MPs on the floor, the smiling faces of the First Peoples Assembly members, staff, and the raw emotion and relief of our community members, jumping for joy as they released the Koori flags, the Torres Strait Islander flag, drowning out the naysayers' disappointment. The treaty establishes the foundation for a renewed partnership between our people and the state government. It provides a pathway for traditional owners to join the Assembly under Gellung Warl, the tip of the spear. And as others have said, we leave no one behind. There's still many of our nations to join, and that's their choice in that process when they join us on the Assembly. Traditional owner groups will soon begin their local treaties on country. The treaty provides the opportunity for our community-controlled organisations to continue their work and work beside us to improve the overall health and well-being of our communities throughout Victoria. As members of the First Peoples Assembly Victoria, we're committed to standing with our communities to assert cultural authority, build wealth and independence through nation building, driven by strong culture, good health, accessible education at all levels and economic opportunities. There is, however, much work still to be done. We have engaged with our communities right across Victoria for many years. We've heard their messages, and those messages represent a diversity of our communities. We must reduce incarceration rates of our community members, particularly our youth. They do not belong in prison. They need to be with family and elders to teach them about culture and responsibility. We must stop deaths in custody. We must stop removal of children from our families, stop them being removed from our communities. We must support our families and individuals to secure suitable housing, whether that be a small unit for an individual living on the streets in Old Fitzroy, or a house that caters for 3 or 4 generations of the same family living on the same property, raising children, supporting parents and caring for elders. Through Gellung Warl, we have committed to developing leadership. We have a vision to create a world-class institute that can imagine and deliver outcomes that place our future generations at the highest levels of their chosen fields. There is no limit, there's no ceiling on what can be achieved. I dedicate this speech to my nan and my parents and my wife, Luana, and my sons, Tyson and Wade, and my grandchildren, who this treaty is for future generations. Thank you.